Hey again everybody, City StarCraft here from the StarCraft 2 commentary. We're actually going to be on the map Delta Quadrant. Awesome map. And we actually have a mirror matchup. Terran versus Terran. This is a replay that was sent to me to sidsreplays@gmail.com. We have JDX in the top left corner up here playing as the red Terran. Saying good luck man with a little symbol there. Trying to be nice, but it appears that we're not going to be nice from the other person, called Sheptennis down here in the bottom right corner, playing as a blue Terran. Now, in terms of mirror matchups, I personally like Terran versus Terran more than anything else, because it's all about positioning. It's all about unit composition, upgrades, and possibly do some drops. But yeah, especially if they go towards siege tanks, if they have a good positioning on those and able to catch units off guard, or if someone unsieges at the wrong time, then the other person can capitalize on that particular situation. Now it appears that both players are building almost identical. JDX a little bit ahead with the barracks. I think that he put the supply depot at 10 supply instead of 11, which you should do. You don't want to be supply blocked before you build the supply depot or pylon or overlord. You want to do that at least one or two before supply block, so that you can keep up with your supply and you never have to worry about not spinning things. JDX is a little bit ahead on the money there. He's probably saving up possibly for an orbital command right when his barracks finishes. It looks like actually he could drop down another barracks. So he's go start off with 2 racks here. And it appears that both players are actually walling off. Well, somewhat. This Sheptennis person actually decides not to put the supply depot here on the other side. Instead he maybe try to put it back in the base. Now in a mirror matchup, you gotta be careful about walling off if you're Terran or Protoss, just because again the units you're going up against attack at the exact same range you do. So if you have sight of the ramp here for either player, if you have sight of it, you can easily bombard with tanks or shoot them from the low ground. There's really not much the other person can do aside from lose their base and lose their structures. Now this little SCV does appear that he might be saved, but it looks like JDX is on the hunt. He's going to come down here and it's like, screw you SCV, I am not going to allow you to leave. And it does appear that's my awesome, yeah, not going to even go there. But anyways, it does appear this SCV is finally going to get destroyed, and the unit's lost tabby. As you can see, the blue Terran did end up losing 1 SCV in that encounter. Now a good thing about Sheptennis, he does secure this watchtower, so you can see definitely the rush distance between both places comes across that watchtower, so you can easily see any type of push out from JDX, and he can counter in kind or be ready in time. Now there's 2 more Marines coming up here, probably to meet his buddy up there, or to do some type of scouting in case if there's any type of proxy barracks, something close by, or he's actually going to start working on the gold expansion rocks right away. That's a little tough there. Of course, JDX does have a hidden Marine right here, so you can scout any type of movement. Army size is showing an exact same amount in terms of total army size, but it does appear that harvester count is favoring our blue Terran, 20 to 18, just because that's going to help him out in the long run, having more money. Both of which have, of course, orbital commands. They can drop down those mules, possibly do some scans, seeing what their opponents are doing. But it appears that our Sheptennis guy is actually going to switch over and get a factory. Maybe end up doing a Marine Marauder and Medvac, get some Medvacs here, or possibly, like most Terran versus Terrans, get a lot of siege tanks. Definitely a good thing to have when you're playing Terran versus Terran. Now, looks like there are 7 Marines up here. Chilling at the watchtower. He did end up taking it over, killed that 1 Marine, probably lost a little HP in the process. But if he lets it go and check, this high yield expansion will be up and running before too long. And it does appear that Sheptennis is wanting to do just that. Spent his money, dropped the command center right here, so he can easily move it over right to the gold expansion when he needs to. Same time though, JDX is going a safer route, getting the expansion at the backside of his base, clearing these rocks out. But it's going to be way behind his blue opponent here. Now there's a timing window right here just for the moment. If JDX moves in, he will have a stronger force, just because the blue Terran player has focused so much money on building that expansion. Now blue Terran player has built this armory, built a tech lab, but isn't producing anything just yet. Saving up his money for God knows what, maybe to build a planetary fortress or something like that. Now if only JDX saw this a little bit over here, he might be able to engage these Marines, at least a few right here, and be able to catch them off guard. And it looks like that might be exactly what's going on here. We do have 6 Marines versus the 5 right here. But JDX wisely end up getting a little scout here. Possibly get attack this, but as you can see, there's just unfortunately too many Marines here, and the Sheptennis guy is going to come out ahead there. But he might be able to actually save that one Marine. It looks like he is. The good thing about this, though, that it does let JDX know that there is going to be an expansion here. He's got to have the high yield. He's got to make something happen soon, or he'll definitely be hurt when it comes to total income. Harvester count, though, JDX way ahead, 28 to 20. But it does appear that the blue Terran player is finally getting the siege tech and working on his tanks here, while at the same time JDX is doing exactly the same thing. Production tab showing the blue Terran just about 5 seconds away from getting siege tech, while the red one is about halfway. But fortunately for him, he is working on upgrades, working on infantry level 1 and working on concussive shells. Not really a must-have on Terran versus Terran. It's really for the most part, Terran versus Terran is siege tanks and Marines, and occasionally some drops here or there. So it might be better suited to actually get combat shields first as opposed to concussive shells. Now it looks like JDX is going to try to poke in here, see what he can see. Sees that not really much going in. He's actually going to drop down a barracks right here, wisely dropping down barracks here, so he can do some harassment to this particular expansion. At the same time, move back to the bunker if it needs to be. But unfortunately, Sheptennis does actually have the siege tank on the high ground. JDX is trying to focus fire the tanks now, but unfortunately, he's going to end up losing his entire army at this point. Now, Sheptennis does have this expansion up and running. So he's going to end up getting a lot more income, especially since if you stay with a lot of Marines, they only cost minerals. Having more minerals per trip is definitely going to help you out in the long run. JDX does end up landing his expansion, probably going to end up turning that into an orbital command, I would assume, to try to offset the amount of money that his Terran adversary is getting from having this expansion here. Now these Marines are set on patrol for some reason. I guess his commanding officer decided, hey, you guys need an exercise, so run back and forth for your entire life until you get killed, because you're not allowed to sit there and do absolutely nothing. That's typical military people, I'll tell you what. But it looks like blue Terran is getting a couple supply depots. But if you look at the red, he's actually building a lot of things. He's getting a starport, he's getting more tanks, a couple marauders here, getting the combat shields, which again is a must-have in Terran versus Terran. And of course, just constantly building stuff. He's trying to spend as much money as he can. He's banking at about 800 minerals, so he needs to be spending some other things. Maybe drop a couple more production facilities. I would like him to possibly build maybe 1 or 2 more factories, or 1 factory and 2 barracks, so then he can constantly have a little more units. Yeah, these guys are getting definitely a good workout. Maybe they ate too much for lunch and becoming pretty fat, so they need to get to work out. And these ones over here are doing exactly the same thing. Now, you gotta be careful doing this patrol stuff, because if he decides to move in, or he gets those tanks on the high ground, he's gonna die very, very easily. Now, these tanks are over here close enough to protect it for the most part. Blue Terran player, of course, is going to bring over his Marines here to possibly move in for any type of attack. Now it's up to JDX to get in a good position, probably over here with his tanks, so that he can bombard this over here. But it does look like he might be attacked from both sides, maybe a bad rally point. This is a cue for JDX to actually move in here. Does actually take out that one tank with the Marauders, and now he's going to siege back over where I suggested probably is the best point. Now he should be able to bombard this planetary fortress if he moves it up just a hair more, and Terran player wouldn't be able to react easily enough. Now, one thing to know about Terran versus Terran, if he had a med vac over here or some type of air unit right here, he could see over here a little easier. Looks like there's finally an engagement here. The blue Terran is going to move in. Going to end up taking out one siege tank. Probably take out the other one very, very easily. No, JDX is able to hold that attack just because of the positioning of the tanks. Now, if you want extra vision, like I said, put any type of air unit right here, and you can see over here easy, or you can just scan, and it gives you a little bit more range. It gives you like one more range with vision, so you're able to actually shoot. Now, JDX is, of course, bombarding this expansion right here, doing a little bit of damage. It's not really causing much aside from the mineral usage from the blue Terran. It does appear like there's a Terran tank trying to move over here, but unfortunately gets caught out of position, and of course the Marauders and Marines are able to easily clean that up. Sheptennis really at this point in time needs to, for the most part, actually go and attack the other base or do some type of drop, but he is going to go in here and try to attack the siege tank one more time. Finally is able to destroy that, and wisely moves back to his planetary fortress to try to bait JDX into the planetary fortress, because that planetary fortress will easily destroy JDX's army there. JDX during that engagement wisely got another expansion, his second expansion up in the front of his base. Now he's up an expansion on his opponent. If you can attack and expand at the same time, do so, because if you're attacking, you're keeping your unit, your army, or your enemy army out of position. So they, it allows you to easily secure an expansion yourself. Now, of course, this tank is going to easily get cleaned up. As you see, JDX just had enough. And now he wisely has a bunker right here, so he can always fall back to the bunker if the blue Terran player decides to move in with Marines and Marauders. Blue Terran player is, of course, can siege up right here. He should actually have range up here and be able to take out these units. If he keeps the units alive, shouldn't be any problem, but of course JDX is going to get overran at this point and push back. Now, this, of course, the supply depot bunker is going to be bombarded easily. There's almost no point in actually repairing it. I'd probably suggest JDX to salvage the bunker and go away from there. And he does exactly what he does. Does he actually get it off in time? It doesn't appear so. He actually got destroyed. Now our blue Terran player is over here double expanding in the bottom left corner, trying to sneak some expansions. Probably going to expand here and maybe one out the front.